Welcome. Episode 2 of some kind of podcast we're trying to put on.
The phone booth.
Phone booth.
You always forget the title.
Phone booth, episode 2. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it, as always. So this time, I think we liked the format we did last time with question sandwich.
Question sandwich. Yeah.
So question followed by some, I don't know, just further conversation around a topic, and then followed or ended with a question. So we like the format. We like we filmed last weekend on Saturday, and so I think we're going to continue to try to do that Saturday and then upload Sunday, in hopes of scaring off the Sunday scaries.
Yep, getting rid of the Sunday scaries with a little bit of,
good vibes.
Good vibes.
Okay,
I like it.
So you came prepared with a question, right?
I did.
Okay. What is your question?
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay. You have only 3 toppings you can put on a burger. What makes your top 3?
Only 3 toppings, and cheese counts as a topping?
Yes, cheese counts as a topping.
So anything other than the meat and
You've
bread.
got bun, patty, bun.
Okay.
You get to choose 3 things that go on there.
3 toppings, 3 things. Okay. I used to be anti-cheese on my burger. I don't know why, which is a silly stance.
What a weird thing to be.
Yeah.
Anti-cheese.
But it wasn't like I was anti-cheese. It was anti-cheese on my burger. I don't know.
Anti-cheese anything.
Anyways, I am going to put cheese on it because I think you need to have cheese on the burger.
I
think it's essential. And then I'm just going to go keep it classic with onions and ketchup.
Cheese, onion, ketchup?
Yeah, it's like the McDonald's cheeseburger, or double cheeseburger. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do.
I like it.
So after some technical difficulties, our video was freezing and glitching out. But yeah, I'm keeping it classic with cheese, onions, ketchup. I mean, that's just simple, straightforward, and delicious. What about you?
Cheese for sure, because I'm not anti-cheese.
I'm not anti-cheese. I was literally growing up, I was like, well, I'm going to save on calories by not putting on the cheese. But then I realized very quickly that it doesn't taste as good. So
I get rid of the bun before I get rid of the cheese.
I don't know about that.
I would. Anyways, my 3 toppings. Cheese, of course.
Okay.
Ketchup, yes, because you have to have some kind of sauce.
Yes.
And pickles.
Okay.
Because you need some kind of crunch.
Is that like what? Is that like a Krabby Patty?
I think a Krabby Patty also has lettuce and onion.
Okay.
Yeah. But there is an episode where Bubble Bass is like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Still no pickles. Get your girl on some SpongeBob trivia and I'll crush it.
That's what I'm thinking. Isn't it interesting that you can tell? I don't know if you can tell, but it's interesting to see someone's like personality almost in how they eat food. I think it's like we appreciate. No, I promise I'm going to go somewhere with this. I'm going to go somewhere with this. Like, there's some people that are just like super picky, right, with some foods.
Yeah.
And they like won't eat anything, and they only eat like 5 foods. I think that's like also kind of a reflection, or it can give you some insight into their personality.
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
And so for me, my burger is pretty simple. Like, if you gave me 3 toppings, like I'm only going to keep it simple with ketchup, cheese, and onions.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if that's simple or not, but yeah, I think that's, for me, then it shows like I am pretty simple, straightforward.
You like the basics.
Like, don't give me fancy truffle stuff or, things like that. I don't know.
That's fair.
You know,
personality indicator. So what does, it's like one of those quizzes on like BuzzFeed,
coffee, right? Like,
what do my burger topping selections say about me? Like cheese.
Okay, maybe this is a bad example. Let's back up. Let's back up. It's not, okay, maybe like coffee order, right?
Yeah.
So you always give me shit because it's like, give me my half sweet vanilla latte, right? With whole milk. So I'm keeping it pretty simple with whole milk, basic, straightforward. Latte, simple, classic. But then I'm like, I need some vanilla because I have a sweet tooth.
Yep.
But then I like it half sweet because I don't like to be going to the full extreme, right? Like I want to enjoy my coffee a little sweet, but I don't want to like be, diving into dessert land fucking at 8 a.m.
Even though you would.
Oh, I would, but like that's not an everyday thing, right?
Yeah.
Like if I could have a vanilla latte, half sweet every day, like I would do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if I went full sweet, that's like 0 to 100 on a Monday. I'm like, what am I saying? I'm not saving anything for Friday or Saturday when I want like an ice cream sundae.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Do you think that's like fair?
I think
personality comes through in some of your food choices.
I think you would have to indicate what it tells about you. I don't think it can indicate very much about other people, except for I do like how you mentioned like if you have more plain, you're like more of a plain and simple person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like I wear basic clothes. I don't have a lot of basic tees. I like logo tees or anything. Like, just give me some normal chinos as you're wearing.
Wait, can I tell a quick story about the shirt? Okay, so as you can see, it looks like the Harley Davidson logo. I had a kid come up to me. I was wearing this to school the other day. I was like, "Hey, Teach, that's a really cool shirt." I was like, "Oh, thank you." Just really taken aback a little bit. And they're like, "Yeah, my uncle has this really cool motorcycle." And so it's going on about that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, little does this poor freshman boy know, but this is not a Harley Davidson shirt. It is rather for Hagrid's magical motorcycles. So little does he know his teacher is not that cool that I ride a motorcycle, but I am cool enough that I am hardcore about my fandom for Harry Potter.
I mean, that is a motorcycle, right? It's the one with the side cart.
Yeah.
It's pretty gangster.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, but he was completely
So do you think
genre.
that you would get sick if you went on that ride? Is it at Universal?
Yeah, the Hagrid's magical motorcycle. Maybe. I mean,
because of motion?
Motion sickness. I get motion sickness easily.
You think you would get sick?
So, I don't know. I haven't been on a roller coaster in a really long time.
When was the last time you've been on a roller coaster?
That's a great question.
Or been to an amusement park?
I have no idea.
So in Ohio, there's a good amount, right?
Yeah. Kings Island.
So Lauren grew up in Ohio. And would you go to Kings Island?
Yeah, we used to have season passes when I was little. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was Paramount's Kings Island before. Now it's like owned by Cedar Point, I think. But yeah, there's Kings Island in Cincinnati.
What's the
outside of Cincinnati?
Kings Island.
When I was a kid, the Beastie.
What does the Beastie look like or entail?
So the Beastie is basically like a wooden roller coaster, just your basic one with a nice hill. Then you have the Beast, which is the largest, I think it's the largest or one of the largest wooden roller coasters.
Let's look it up.
It has lots of tunnels. The Beast. And then Kings Island made the Son of the Beast. And it was supposed to be like a little bit more extreme version, I think, of the Beast. But somebody, I think, died on that ride or got hurt so bad that they had to close it down. So I've only ever read The Beastie and The Beast. The Beastie.
The Beast got 4.7 stars on Google reviews.
As it should. It's great.
Awesome, powerful, sprawling across 35 acres, 65 miles an hour.
Yep, pretty fast. But the Beastie's a little version of that. So when I was a little kid, it was like a big deal when you go on the Beastie.
In 1979 as the tallest, fastest, and largest wooden roller coaster in the world.
So
back in the day,
when it opened, yeah.
It cost $3 million to build.
Yeah. It's a lot of lumber.
A lot of wood.
Yep.
Especially these days, it probably costs like $20 million given the price of construction materials.
But yeah, that was the best ride. I think I went to Cedar Point twice. One time with my family, my cousins.
Yeah.
And then one time on this horrendous class trip that ended up in the hospital.
So public school, they took you to beat Kings Island?
Public school, that the French class at the public school got to go to, what's it called? No. Got to go to
Paris?
Cedar Point. Not Paris, no. Cedar Point. Private school thing. Cedar Point. But my best friend was in French class and they all got to take a buddy. And
what is this nonsense?
I got to go with my best friend and I wasn't even in French class.
That is actually the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yep. It was in the summer.
You got to pick whoever you want to come with you on a French field trip to Kings Island.
No, to Cedar Point.
Cedar Point.
Yeah. Cedar Point's like at the top of Ohio in Sandusky. Kings Island's in the middle in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
anyways,
So
it was a great time until it wasn't.
As a kid, what would you rate this theme park?
Kings Island?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Okay.
It had it was when Nickelodeon was in its prime too. And so a lot of the rides were Nickelodeon themed.
Got it.
It was a great time.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We should go. We go past it too many times on the way to Columbus.
Yeah, from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Did you have any experience going to amusement parks growing up?
Yes. So it's weird. I hadn't been. We went several times when I was younger, but I feel like after I got in my teenage years, we didn't really go anymore. We went to Six Flags a lot. So I believe I've been to the Six Flags in Denver. I don't know if they're still there. Denver, and then Illinois, Missouri, one of those.
Midwest.
The Midwest one, the Great America, is the one that I think I've been to. Other than that, there's in Missouri, Branson, Missouri, I think there's a place called Silver Dollar City. I don't know. There's some interesting stuff goes down in Branson, Missouri. As you can imagine. I think that's in Silver Dollar City. I think that's in Branson, Missouri, or somewhere in that area.
Is that also where they have the restaurant where they throw the rolls at you?
Yeah, Lambert's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've ever been to a place called Lambert's, there's one in Missouri. It's close to Branson. Anyways, you raise your hand, they throw you a hot roll from across the restaurant.
I mean, that's the only hope I would ever have if I raised my hand somewhere, that somebody would just throw me a hot roll.
So they just come rolling out of the kitchen and they're like, fresh hot rolls. And then you just boom. And then
that's amazing.
Get it. And then if you miss it, they just throw you another one.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's a pretty interesting restaurant. I haven't been there. I haven't been there in years, so I can't even tell you if it's good or not.
Interesting.
But yeah, so amusement parks were definitely part of my childhood, I think, more so than anything else. And then we had this one back home. It's called Cliffs, and it's actually trash. I mean, I shouldn't say that. That was kind of mean. Right now, if I were to go, it'd be a miserable time.
Okay. Yeah.
Back in the day, it was probably pretty great.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went with my my good friend Vince. We went to Cliffs. I think this was in 6th grade. So fun fact about Vince.
Did you go by yourselves in 6th grade?
I think his mom was with us.
Okay.
But fun fact about Vince is I think I told you this, but we used to hate each other. We were in the same they were called sections. So each grade was broken up into 5 sections. So we were 6 A or B or something like that.
Yeah.
6C. And Vince and I didn't like each other. I feel like we were very much the same person. And so we couldn't get along because
the rivals.
And so he played basketball, I played basketball. We were both pretty good. And so we would challenge each other, and I mean, and so we would get we would argue, we would fight, I think, and we would challenge each other. But then we became, I don't really know what happened. We became pretty good friends after a rough start.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was with Vince at Cliffs, and we were on these swings, the chairs.
The giant swings, the silver bar comes down. Yeah, exactly. I can still hear it.
So then and then we were going on the ride, and it just shoots out of my pocket, hits Vince in the foot, and then falls in the water below. And so we were trying to find it. And I'm yep, there it is. Did you see it at the bottom of the little pond at the center of the whatever it's called, the yo-yo swing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most memorable moment of going to Cliffs. So that tells you a whole lot about.
Interesting. What a time.
The experience there at Cliffs.
Yeah.
Anyways,
gotta love it.
So I was in my my grad school interview, the final round, the open house, and they asked a question which I thought was interesting. I mean, it's not a super interesting question, but you often don't stop to think about it. It's how do you stay grounded? How do you stay grounded? How do you, especially in times of stress or when things aren't going well? So I was curious, I know some of the things that you do, but like, what do you feel like is the most impactful, or the thing that has the biggest effect on your ability to stay grounded when things hit the fan?
I think first, what do you mean by grounded?
So,
Like, what's the difference? What does being grounded look like versus not being grounded?
so I would say, like, something happens, you experience something, you see something, you hear something that gets you frustrated, gets you elevated, heightens your anger, anxiety, emotions. Maybe you are acting in a way that maybe you wouldn't because of the scenario. You're quick to address it rather than kind of taking a step back and actually like seeing the situation, in a state that maybe is more neutral.
So basically, how do I de-stress?
Sure.
Like,
how do
bring
you,
yourself from like an elevated stress point
Yeah.
to your normal.
Yeah, I would say.
I actually we kind of talked about this the other day. This was so fun. I have like a little pod at school that I meet with once a week. Everybody does. And we had to give a lesson about, being anti-vaping. And so one of the things that I touched on was the fact that it's usually a move for stress. So like healthier ways, right? Healthy ways to get yourself down from stress. So I was talking to my kids about how the fact that when I'm in high stress, the biggest thing I do is I reclude. Reclude, is that a word? I don't know.
Sure.
I become a recluse,
Sure.
where I am like thinking very inwardly in my brain, and I have to solve it. I have to be the one to conquer. I have to, right? It's on me. It's my fault kind of deal. And so I think the biggest thing that I have to do is talk to someone else. And it's usually like a person that I deem as like a safe person for me to talk to.
Yeah.
Someone else that's going to help me get out of my head. Bad negative headspace about it. So for example, if I'm reacting poorly, right, I have to debrief. If I feel like I'm reacting poorly to something, I need to debrief with someone so that my internal thought process doesn't take it to another level beyond where I feel like it already is. So I have to have some kind of like outward push of the information that I have that feels like it's like kind of swirly inside.
Yeah.
I guess. So I think my biggest thing is just kind of having an outlet of a safe person to go and talk to.
Do you feel like that person, do you appreciate when that person pushes back, or is more of like just like a listener person?
More listening than pushing back. Because for me, if I'm in times of stress and you're asking me more questions, that's only going to escalate me more. I feel like I need more of a listener and then like a navigator of helping me think outside of my own brain of like, okay, well then what could you do next? Right. Or do you want to do anything next? Like minimal on the questions, more maximum on the listening.
Is that what you need from me as a person when you're in that time?
Yeah, I would say so. I think you do a good job of doing both. You're very strong on the listening, which is, like I said, what I need. And also helpful in ways of like, okay, here, like, let's think of and brainstorm some solutions.
Yeah.
So there's a balance of both. Yeah.
I feel that.
I think sometimes if I just want a listener, I'm 100% capable of being like, I just need somebody to vent to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel that. I think having people in your circle that you can have those conversations with, or will just listen, is super helpful.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had those people in my professional life, at least, pretty much since I started doing this work, which feels really good.
That's good.
And yeah, it just makes such a difference when you can have someone that's gonna like just like hear you out and like have your back.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like.
Have your back to either call you out on something or just have your back to support you, I think is both equally having back.
Yeah. Anything else that you do to?
I definitely need to do something physical, like a physical activity, whether that's going for a walk or being outside or running on the treadmill or I don't know. Something active helps me.
Do you think walking the dog in the mornings and evenings does that for you? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially in the afternoons. Because one of the biggest things about my job is how overstimulated I feel at work.
Mhm.
Just like I think we've had a conversation about this recently, of just like always having to be on because you're always in front of someone. You can't ever have like a moment for you.
Yeah.
And so that involves a lot of feeling overly stimulated.
Mm.
So that also helps that kind of bring me back to a regular level.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Even though sometimes I'm exhausted and don't want to walk the dog, or it's blizzarding outside and I don't want to.
Yes, it is currently blizzarding outside in Salt Lake City. And so we haven't basically left the house all day, drinking our coffee, staying warm.
Yep.
But you know, it's interesting. I had the same answers. It was people who were in my circle that I can talk to, but then there's also the being active, working out, doing something.
Yeah.
Because like as much as you don't want to do it, especially when you're stressed, you feel 100 times better after you do it.
Yep.
And it doesn't even have to be that much. Like it could just be 20, 25 minutes of something to stay grounded. I think that is super effective. I'm trying to think of like other things that I've done. I mean, like I love listening to podcasts and audiobooks. So I think that would be something for me. Just to get your mind off of.
Yeah, people have been really promoting crocheting lately as a way, because the thing about crocheting, I've never crocheted before, you have to count your stitches. So your mind has to be occupied with and it's simple, it's just counting, but you have to keep up with it. So your ability to wander as much or to like spiral is low because of how much you have to count.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, right? It's like you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're just literally being
in the moment. Yeah.
There. And that's really hard.
Yep.
Being present is really hard. I mean, right now, like even just doing this podcast, like I think we're probably more present than we are on any like other weekend, kind of just like in this moment. Having
a moment. Yeah, I think that's important. I think we talked about that in episode 1. Just this like podcast avenue gives us another place to be, like pause in the week, have a moment, just us. And I think that's to reiterate, like it's a new thing that could keep us grounded in a way.
Just don't stress out about it too much.
No.
But I'll listen to if you need to talk.
Air it out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I had some questions written down. For you.
For me specifically.
Well, for us. Let me pull them up.
You don't just think of them off the top of your head. Like, what are the 3 things you want to?
Is that what you thought off the top of your head?
Yeah. I think it's because I do that with my students every day. Some kind of silly question like that.
Okay. This is an interesting one. When do you feel confident?
This is an easy one. He says.
Yeah. When do you feel confident?
When do you feel confident? Like create the situation, create like a time or an experience?
Yeah. You don't have to be specifically like the situation. Just like, what are you doing? How are you? What are some things about you that lead to that confidence?
Confidence, I feel like if I'm like envisioning it in my brain, it has to do with like me feeling on top of things. Like, not that I have absolutely everything done for work, but I know the direction that I'm going in, right? So I need some kind of, I think, direction in knowing how I'm going to get there. Especially, I think I equate that to work because that encompasses a lot of my week. And it's the biggest part of my day during the week. So I think it's a place in which I need to feel confident. And one of the ways I do that is knowing what I'm doing, the direction I'm going in. Because if I don't, then I'm scrambling. So avoiding that scramble a little bit. I think at home, like if I'm kind of separating the two, I also feel confident with knowing the direction I'm going in with like friends, with you, with, you know, you name it. I think also just for me, confidence comes from also feeling comfortable. So if I'm thinking at home, I'm feeling comfortable with being able to make the decisions that I want to make and kind of feeling at peace with the direction I'm heading. So maybe that's it. I'm at peace with the direction I'm heading.
Organized and clarity.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
What about you?
I would say, I think clean, like physically clean.
Nice.
You know,
I feel that.
Fresh pair of underwear, fresh
Can
socks.
change a life, I will say.
Some chonies that are not
crusty.
Oops, crusty.
Sorry.
Chonies over there. But yeah, I think like physically clean clothes. I mean, like, I think there's nothing better than like having like a fresh haircut and it like,
oh, you do love a fresh haircut
and done the way you like it, in styled, and it like works well. Smell good. I mean, like a spritz of cologne, I think, gives me confidence. Yeah, I mean, and I think what you said definitely resonates. It's clarity, it's organization. It's knowing like what's potentially ahead, at least some idea.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to know exactly what's happening or
No.
going to always happen. But I think that's important for me to feel confident. And I mean, just knowing that like I've given the time to think about it and reflect on it, that I'm not just like letting it be a surprise, I guess.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I think when I was like speaking more towards like me at work, like this week, I have an idea of what every single day I want it to look like, but I work with teenagers. So it's like, will we get that done? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I also have to be flexible. Yeah. But I have enough of foundation where I can start moving forward. And I think that's like the same for any other facet of my life. I have enough of foundation to keep moving forward. I don't have to have everything figured out.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever think about it like this, but I mean, you are an expert in teaching like ELA.
Yeah.
And so like you are an expert. So if you think about it from that perspective, right, where it's, well, I'm going to walk into this classroom and whether I'm prepared or not, like I still know way more than these children do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the one teaching them, right?
Yeah.
And so I think also mindset, right? It's like, how can I be like, the confidence comes from knowing, like awareness, self-awareness, I guess. So
yeah, I like that. I think the mindset of like, I think like I just said, having room for flexibility is important.
Yeah.
I think because if I go in with a have to, and I have a room full of people who are like, I hate you, I don't want to be here today.
Yeah.
Then it's like, you know, trying to hurt a cat. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
All right. So if you weren't a teacher, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't a teacher, what would I be doing? Two things. I have two options.
Okay.
Two wild options.
Okay.
Voice acting for cartoon characters. I don't know why, but I think I would find that so fun.
It'd be amazing.
Second thing, something in like sports.
Okay. Like, give me an example. What would be cool? Sideline reporter?
Yeah. Courtside reporter.
News anchor?
No.
Agent? Sports agent?
No. More like either reporting or like an AD kind of role.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. That'd be fun.
So one unrealistic, quite out the box.
I mean, we can make our
second, more realistic. Third, I also would love like I just own a bookshop, coffee shop combo where it's just straight vibes.
If I gave you $20,000, a bookstore / coffee shop, would you quit your job tomorrow?
If you gave me $20,000?
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough to start it, but I think it could be a good start.
No. Like it's already established. It's already started. It's already built. It's already ready to go. You just have to step in and start running it.
Oh yeah, I would do it.
That's pretty brave of you.
I think it would be fun.
Well, crazy news is I have a coffee shop, a bookstore, and $20,000 to give you. So
I guess then what are we doing sitting here?
I guess you're not going to work.
Hell yeah. What would you do?
What would I do if I wasn't a counselor?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do an unrealistic one. Unrealistic.
That's what I did. But you don't have to do that.
I mean, I think it'd be really cool to be like an actor, or it's gonna sound weird, but like a model, like a.
Sound weird, Mr. Mr.
I mean,
Never mind.
because
I don't
like,
want to expose you.
it'd be cool to be creative. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't expose me. Creative in that way, but also like a really cool like writer for like TV shows.
Oh, you would like that. I can see that.
I wouldn't be the best writer, so I need someone to write for me, but I could come up with super cool ideas, I feel like.
I have great handwriting.
So maybe we should start a cartoon series where you could do the voices and I can do the writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Done.
Sounds good.
So I'm quitting on Monday, and so are you?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Michelle, Coral, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But anyways, I would say as a more of like a one that I could potentially do quickly. I mean, I think working with collegiate athletes around, like I saw a position the other day. It'd be super cool. It'll be like a mental health counselor for like a sports team at a college.
Yeah.
Collegiate athletics. Yeah. Mental health counselor. Or, I mean, that'd be super cool to be like a team's counselor and just like travel with them. And
yeah, I definitely know. I've seen jobs like that opening up recently.
Yeah. So like specific people assigned to like a team where you just like focus on the players so they don't have to necessarily venture out. And
yeah,
and that'd be cool.
And like you could build like a foundational relationship, kind of like what's her face on Ted Lasso.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, was she part of? I mean, she worked with them, but she wasn't like hired. She was like a person they hired from the outside, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
She didn't get hired by the team to be the specific.
Yeah, she did.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, so she was.
Remember, because Ted was like, "Oh, you're just here for a short time," when he was super against her and he was like terrified, and then she got hired on. And he was like, "Ah,
yeah."
crap."
I mean, that'd be super cool. I would love to do that role.
Yeah.
I mean, if I got to hang out with Roy Kent all day, to be gangster.
Okay. So now that we've stepped in this pond, top 5 best Ted Lasso characters. Order does count.
All right.
Oh, who's number? Do you want to start with number 5
This is such a difficult question because at the beginning of the show, it's very different than at the end of the show. I feel like. Okay,
then you pick where you want to start. You can either say from the beginning or end.
I mean, I'm gonna say from the end because that's like the only logical place to start. I feel like.
Okay.
I would say
there are 2 places to start, but there's only one logical place to start.
Okay. I'm gonna say number 1, Roy.
Okay.
Number 2, Ted.
Okay.
Number 3, Jamie.
Yep, fair.
Number 4, Beard.
I love it.
And then number 5, that's tough. I kind of like Keely.
Yeah.
I think she's cool.
Keely?
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
Number 1 is Ted.
Oh, but I forgot about Sam. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, number 1 is Ted. 2 is Roy.
Okay, so we switched those.
3 is Rebecca.
Mm.
She's pretty great. You know, that
is funny.
4 is, I said, Ted, Roy, Rebecca. 4 is Jamie. And 5 for me is Higgins.
Higgins is pretty sweet.
Very underrated, I think.
Yeah, he just like comes through in like the moments when you least expect it, I feel like.
Oh yeah. And I love the way that he portrays the lackey so well at the beginning and like that whole diet. Yeah. It's a great show.
What was the one? Did they go to his house for Christmas?
Yep, and they had to use the surfboard. Yeah. It was great.
That was a pretty great.
Because he was like, I didn't know everybody would show up.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I got one more question for you.
Okay.
All right, this is gonna be an interesting one. Love is what?
Oh. I did ask my students this on Valentine's Day.
Did you really?
They had to fill in the blank. Yeah.
Okay.
It was really cute what they said.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You can't steal their answer though.
Okay. Love is
This is not Valentine's Day, so this has nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also while you're thinking about it,
It's also March.
Yeah.
You go. Think. I have time to think.
I was gonna tell you another example of foods telling you something about a personality is when I mix my cereals. So like that's like a perfect example of like the quirky.
So you want to drive that home?
Quirky, weird person that I can be.
Yeah.
And that comes out in some of the food choices that I make.
Just
to make sure that people don't think I'm weird.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't think I'm weird. People could think I'm weird. You probably think I'm weird. I'm a weird person. Okay.
I'm glad you emphasized that. That wasn't
Love.
apparent otherwise. I'm going to say love is acceptance.
Acceptance?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Just acceptance?
Like, for example, I'm not at my best every single day.
Mm-hmm.
There are some days where I'm just in a crabby mood just because I'm in a crabby mood and there is no like huge reason to support it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I know I'm like, oh, I feel love is when I'm still accepted by my friends, by my significant other, by my family, even when I'm not at my best.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I've shown them like something that I'm like, that was absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think, because I think it comes from my definition of love comes like from like the opposite of like one of my biggest fears.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is like being rejected for being just me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
What is love?
Yeah, exactly.
Your turn.
So that was a question.
Yeah.
In the form of song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baby,
I would say love is like genuine and authentic connection.
Okay.
And so like when you can connect on something, so like obviously we could connect on sports, we can connect on food, we can connect on, you know, TV shows and movies. Like those are some big things that are like a lot of people can connect on, right?
Yeah.
But like when you can start
They're pretty basic.
When you can start connecting on like the excitement and joy that we get out of going to bed at 8:30, like holy, like that is incredible, right? Or when it's like we'll look at each other and we'll just know that like, all right, today we just want to stay in and watch TV like on the couch.
Yeah.
Or when we finish dinner and like we go sit on the couch and like we'll look at each other and be like, so we're getting ice cream, right? Again, I think that's like, I guess it's kind of going back to some of the stuff.
The unspoken things, is that what you're thinking?
Like, almost, right? It's like these connections that we like, we don't even have to talk about them, but we know that like exist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it, but like a lot of times it's like we're on the same wavelength with things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I was just thinking that, or like you took the words out of my mouth, or I couldn't have said it better, right? And I think that's what I would say, at least right now for me, is what I would describe love as.
Yeah. I think it's okay, and it's natural for it to ebb and flow and change.
Yeah. I mean, people will probably say like yours, some combination of ours, right? Of like unconditional, like acceptance and authentic connection.
Yeah.
But I like that. Super cool. Yeah. Well, I think that's all the questions I had. We ran on for 37 minutes and it's actually crazy.
I think it's snowing more.
Yeah, it's definitely snowing more. Well, good thing I have a flight tomorrow to catch.
Chance get to snowy walk too.
Chance for you to be grounded. Ooh, chance for you to be grounded.
Nice.
Well, thanks for joining in. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. So I'll put it in the description. That's where you can follow us.
You don't want to say it?
But it's 12:35, and so it's like that's
TWEL35, right?
Yeah.
ELV35.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So you can follow us there, but I'll also put it in the description. But you can also listen on Spotify. But like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you.
Do it. Appreciate it.
Phone booth, episode 2.
Let's go. All
right, we need a thumbnail. Cool.
Nice.
Oh God.